connection. That's not fair. Hey, welcome, my friends. It's going green now. We're green. Green light. Welcome. It is, what is it? It's 12th of February. It's 2020. It's Chat with Matt. You've got half an hour here in the Bright Light Facilitator group to ask me anything. Ask me anything at all. Sister Jen Burns has written in, hey, Brother Rich. Sister Jen has written in ahead of time, so I have a question to start with, and then I'm happy to bounce off whatever arises. I just better have a drink, which I haven't got much water. To be honest, I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball this morning. Hey, Charanjit, how are you? And Sister Gal, welcome. Yeah, a little bit behind. I tried to get up early this morning, but my body just did not want to, so I had to give it another 3/4 of an hour of horizontal time, and then I've sort of meditated a little bit longer than I anticipated, so I've pretty much come straight to the computer from there. But we'll be right. What could possibly go wrong here? Sister Jen, Rich, Sister Jen wrote in, working on simultaneously deprogramming this you must work X amount of hours per week, creating a new definition of discipline, which I've talked quite a bit about. Awesome that you're here, Gal. And the third thing is also aligning with what wants to be created, inspired by source. So 3 things here. Deprogramming the you must work so many hours to be good, right, and proper. Creating a new definition of discipline, which is not based in rules, obviously. And managing to create what is aligned by source. Also aligned with what wants to be created, inspired by source. The answer I'm getting is to cultivate a practice that honors both. These are my 3 commitments for today. That honors both. These are my 3 commitments for today. I'm not sure which both was, but anyway. Discipline and allowing inspiration, right? That's a very common, balancing act that we have, or process of, what's the right word there, where you have to justify, but justify is not the right word I'm looking for. When we're choosing to stay disciplined, and we're also open to inspiration. Hey, Brother Lou, and also open to inspiration. So there's a discipline with freedom. And for me, it actually requires discipline to maintain my freedom. And a lot of people think discipline and freedom are on opposite sides of the continuum, and they're not, right? Discipline is a methodology to get to freedom, right? Because if you have no discipline, you don't really have freedom, right? Because if you don't have proper discipline, then you can never really utilize the opportunities that are available to you. So that freedom is basically wasted, if you like. If you don't have good levels of discipline, self-discipline, loving discipline, commitment, dedication to moving forward, then you can't really embrace a good level of freedom, right? Because you generally don't manifest, without that level of discipline, you don't really manifest the means to use freedom. You might have all the freedom in the world, but you have no means to actually employ it, right? And you have no processes for actually getting actual results from the freedom, right? So yeah, I've got all the freedom in the world, but I, don't have 10 cents to rub together. You're hungry. I'm free, but I'm hungry. That's not freedom in my book, right? Freedom has a level of prosperity, and freedom is generally built in a layer of structure. There's structure to how we utilize our freedom. Freedom is not jellyfish, no structure at all. Well, you could call that freedom, but it's not a very empowered freedom. And that's why I quite often talk about empowered freedom. I talk about authentic confidence and empowered freedom, because just having freedom, we all have freedom, right? We're all 100% a choice. So I was just recording a video yesterday about empowerment, which is my next sort of offering coming this way. Hey, Sister Teresa. Hey, Sister Jen. How are you? Anyway, I was just talking on this video that I recorded just yesterday, and I've been editing like a bugger for hours to get it looking half decent. What was I talking about on that video? Something about freedom. Freak, I've lost it completely. I was talking about empowerment, freedom. And we need empowerment to really utilize freedom. I've lost where I was going, doesn't matter. But I think you get the idea. So for Jen Burns, who's talking about balancing out or creating a practice that honors both of these, right? So a discipline that's basically from love, and also the freedom to follow inspired and creative processes from source. So I'm just trying to keep reading because I didn't finish reading the question, of course. These are my 3 commitments for today, and this is the free space I'm giving myself to create whatever is in alignment with my vision. In short, I'm still playing with how to most effectively, strategically use my time and energy so it becomes a more natural flow of productivity. A more natural flow of productivity. See, I think you can let go of that a little bit, Jen. Well, maybe it just needs rephrasing, and maybe it's only just my my translation of what productivity means. Because you can use your time to be much more natural, in a much more natural flow of expression, of being yourself, in other words, and trust that is going, because I'm not sure if you're talking about needing more money when you're what's driving the need to have a flow of productivity. Is it to feel the satisfaction of helping more people, or is it to actually and there's nothing wrong with this, to have a better flow of prosperity / income / money through your field to allow you to have the freedom that you were talking about here, right? Jen also goes, and I'll read what she wrote next, which by the way can be a bit tricky when I'm feeling stretched in being seen. I notice I desire more time to be with myself afterwards and have fun because of the discomfort being stretched causes. Yeah, so I'm trying to honor that and my other commitments too. Exactly. So you have to understand. Oh, awesome, you're here, Jen. Money. Yeah, money. So you just have to trust that money's going to come, sister. I strongly believe, and it's taken me, and I've been working on this for years, so it's not an easy thing for me to believe, but I'm choosing to believe that I get paid by the universe for being me. The more that I can relax into allowing myself to express in expansive ways, and yes, make offers as well, and yes, provide products that people actually want, but allowing all of that to flow through from the desire to express myself more fully, the desire to be more present here in a beneficial way for others. Hey, brother Phil, how are you? Philip, the master chef. I haven't actually seen many of your food posts lately, Philip. Why is that? Are you not posting, or have you just fallen off my feed? Because I do enjoy some of your food posts, as opposed to some of the other food posts that come along that are not so inspiring. But anyway, so Sister Jen, cultivating the practice, I believe the ultimate practice for you to be doing is to be aligning with yourself and spending time actually getting strong in your own energy, allowing yourself, choosing an intention to build your authentic confidence, which will allow you to express fully the truth of who you are, the vibration of who you are, the intention with which you are here. And in doing so, naturally you will start to offer your services more naturally out to other people and allow them to invest in your offers, right? You will allow people to invest in what you are offering because it will feel very natural for you. It's a process. So you are going to feel stretched in being seen. You are going to feel stretched in making those offers. You are going to feel stretched in being worthy to receive decent money for what you do. That stretched process is inevitable, and you can't really avoid that, and it is a limitation to how fast you can progress. you have to have patience with this process. It is going to take time for you to slowly but surely increase your ceiling on what you can receive and how much you can be seen and how much good you can do in the world. It's a progression. I'm on that progression. Everyone's on that progression. We are all stepping through, allowing ourselves to be more fully divinely present here in this human body, right? Allowing more of our divinity to flow through so we can express ourselves in more divine ways. Now, I know divine carries a lot of connotations here, but I'm talking about authentically true to the vibration of us, the bigger vibration of us. You have, Jen, you have a huge commitment on a high level to really help people unlock their ability to express themselves in natural and intimate ways, right? Not necessarily, all sorts of intimate ways, right? To allow themselves to express themselves in ways that feels very good and nurturing to themselves, to allow themselves to express as an outlet and to express as a form of joy here, whether it's through dance or whether it's through communication or whether it's through a combination, right? Because dance is a form of communication. So we can see definitely that there's all sorts of ways that you are going to deliver your intended services, your mission to the world in different ways moving forward. And right now, you're doing well, right? You're doing really well. So keep playing with how to most effectively use your time. You have to invest in doing your own practices that lift your vibration and allow you to slowly but surely move through the process of finding more confidence in yourself. But that entails taking action, because it's not all about just doing the meditation, doing the self-expression, doing the dance and the movement for yourself to help shift energies. That is all important, but it has to be in combination with taking action that stretches you. So making offers, right, that's beyond what you've done before, whether that's a workshop, whether that's one-on-one work, whatever it is that you don't feel ready to do yet, that's what you need to be offering yourself, right? And of course there's a limit. It's not like, well, I don't feel like doing a 1,000-person workshop, but I'm going to offer it, right? That's stupid, right? But I don't feel ready to offer a 20-person workshop, but I'm going to offer it. That's sensible, right? Or whatever, wherever the thing is. How can you meditate while having joint pain? Oh, Charan, you just need to find a posture where the pain is not too bad. So it's not a meditation. You do not need to be sitting cross-legged on the floor. You can be lying in bed if that works for you, right? So, and you can meditate on the pain, right? You can use the pain as a point of concentration, because meditation is really just allowing your mind to settle so that the thoughts are not running so quickly. I've done meditations before where I've basically just breathed through, hey brother Phil, kia ora kazi. That means hello brother or cousin, right? For those who are not Kiwiized. So yeah, you can use pain as a point of meditation. So breathing into the space with an intention to allow it to release, with intention to allow it to, and without needing to see it actually go to feel like you're winning, but as you just focus on the pain with an intention to allow it to ease, you allow yourself to go into a deeper state. You breathe with the pain and it takes you into a deeper state. So there's lots of ways you can meditate with pain. Don't use it as an excuse not to do it. It's actually a way of coping with it. Sister Jen, I think part of it is that a program... Right, well, I'm going to try and read it again. I think part of it is that a program I'm a part of is very much about being consistent about time, sticking to a... Yep, got it. Sticking to a schedule, whether you feel like it or not. Yeah, and does that work for you, Jen? It works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. So, like all programs, they're not for everyone. There is advantages in scheduling things. I schedule things, but then again, I shift things. I scheduled myself to get out of bed at 6:30 this morning. I didn't. My alarm went off at 6:30. I opened one eye and went, oh my God, I feel like I've been hit by a truck. and I made the choice, the intuitive choice, that it was better for me to sleep this morning than to get up at 6:30. So I reset my alarm and went back to sleep. Right, now you could say, well, that's not very disciplined, Matt, and it's true, it's not very disciplined, but in this case, I felt it was the best outcome. Now, if I was to habitually do that and just to always let myself off the hook and not get up, that would cause problems. It's about being connected to what really serves us. And so I'm the same with my calendar, right? Things come up and I've scheduled to record a video. I get to the point where I've scheduled a time and I go, I'm not in the space to record a video right now, or an MP3 or whatever it is. So I just move it. I don't delete it. I just move it. And now, of course, it's going to catch up with me eventually. I can't keep moving everything all of the time. So I know that. So it's about working in an empowered way. It's about working in a effective way with scheduling. So as you pointed out in your question, right, you need to find a new definition of discipline, because discipline for me is really being willing to follow my heart, right, to what I know is best for me. It's not about following mental dogmatic rules, and it's not about having no discipline, which is basically allowing my emotions to just take me wherever it wants, or my whims or whatever to wash me hither and thither with very little thing getting actualized, created, or completed, right? So there's definitely a balance there, and the old school rigidity of discipline, right? This is how it's going to be, and it can't be changed, hell or high water, is dying, right? I don't believe the energies are really supporting that here. The old authoritarian, shadow masculine energies that drove fear-based discipline is coming to an end. So if you keep trying to use fear-based discipline to work for you, like I've made because even accountability can be very easily fear-based discipline, because you fear the judgment of others that you've accounted to. But it also can be love-based if you choose to honor the commitment you've made to others, right, in accountability, because you love them and you love yourself and you know it's going to serve you. So accountability and all of that it's a fine line between whether you're operating from fear or whether you're operating from love. And of course, I'm choosing as best I can to stay on the love side of that line. Because I've got a couple of accountability partners, there's 3 or 4 of us together, and we show up every Tuesday, which was yesterday for us. And I hadn't done what I said I was going to do, but I didn't feel bad. I said, I have no guilt. I said to them, I haven't done it and I have no guilt, because this and this and this, and what I have done is feels appropriate. So that's it. And I am going to do what I said I was going to do, because it is a valid thing to do. But I just didn't get it done in the time frame that we committed to. So obviously my commitment is stronger to myself and my own knowing than to anything else. I've talked about this before in our group about not being too concerned about the honor of your word, right? Because if you just get stuck on what you've committed to, what you've said to others in other times, then you kind of railroad the process of evolution. Because as time progresses, we evolve and we see things in deeper ways. Now, if we can't change our mind, if we can't change what we've said we're going to do, then that's crazy, because a commitment that I made 20 years ago, if that still has to preside over what I'm doing to maintain my honor, then that's ridiculous, right? So honoring your word, I believe, is going out of phase, right? But what's more important is to honor your heart and to do what you know is going to serve you, and not to allow yourself to compromise that, not to allow your emotion in the moment where the resistance arises and go, oh my God, I feel too much resistance to this, I'm not going to do it. That's not honoring your heart, right? That's allowing the resistance to win. Now, how hard we push against our resistance, of course, is conjecture, and we all have to be sensible with that, because to push ourselves too hard against resistance isn't going to work either, right? So if the resistance is too much, then we have to back off and choose maybe an easier path around this, to choose a smaller first step to help us get some momentum to get over it. Because if we just keep bashing our head against the resistance, we're not going to get through. So how am I going? Am I helping? Am I helping? Yeah. So it's all a balance, and there's no real easy answers. I think that's the important thing to understand, Jen, and everyone is, we like this idea. Our mind likes this idea that, right, I employ discipline, I set this structure, and now everything's going to be easy. I'm just going to follow it, right? I'm just going to follow the recipe, and I'm going to come to a sure outcome. And it's not the truth, right? It's not the truth. I don't believe anything is that simple. I don't believe life is that, I'm all about simplicity, but I'm also real, and things are complex, and especially our releasing process is complex. So we have to be willing to work in a dynamic way, in a mature way with our experience. Awesome. Leslie Ann wrote in, completely agree with honoring heart instead of word. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Too masculine. Oh, yeah, when you say not that there's anything wrong with it, I look back through my deep history and I see how many times I chose to honor my word and ended up doing things that I regretted, right? I've gone to war to honor my word, right? Crazy. And when I knew the reason we were fighting was not in alignment with me, right? But I'd made, honoring my word, honoring my allegiance to the king, going to war, using my power to help win that war, right? But totally out of alignment with what I really stood for. But I'd made a promise. I made a promise at a time when I believed the king was working for the light, right? I believed that at the time, made a commitment to that, and then as realizing that he had changed, wasn't willing, because of the energy of the day where holding your word was everything, wasn't willing to change my position, even though I now had more knowledge, more wisdom, more understanding of the real situation. So when you say there's nothing wrong with honoring your word, I think there's plenty wrong with it. I think it's counter-evolutionary, and I think it's a recipe for disaster, to be honest. So I'm all about being willing to change my mind and being willing to change. And I'm very, very mindful now about making promises, right? Today, I very rarely make a promise to anyone about anything. I promise to show up as myself and do the best for someone. That promise I can make, but the specifics about how that's going to happen, I don't promise, because I know that it's going to change as time progresses. I know that as I work with someone, it's going to change. So my commitment is to my heart and to doing my best for everyone concerned, right? As I feel it in the moment, but it's not about completing any external thing in any period of time, because I realize that just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and I'm very serious about choosing not to break my word too often, so therefore I don't make those promises that don't really, that I know I can't stay true to. To honor my heart and to honor a promise is not easy, so the promise has to be very much aligned with my heart before I make it. What else? Who else? Did I get to the end with you, Jen? Is there anything else you want to riff on around that? Anything that is not clear? That's not clear around the or anyone else for that matter, hit me up. We've still got sort of 6-7 minutes. It is a dance, right? Working with discipline. And I've talked a bit about it, and we were talking about it just earlier in the year. What were we talking about? Dedication, right? Dedication coming from a space of devotion as opposed to, what were we talking about? Determination. Yeah, of course, Gal. It changes with time, right? Changes with time. So yeah, we've been working a bit with this determination from a space of dedication as opposed to from mental, what is it when you contract around something? Desperation, right? Working with the D's. Yeah. and that's a big part of it. So generating, trying my best not to allow external pressure to influence my choice. And then it's all about devotion to yourself. And it's about being willing to clearly communicate with those external pressures, right? To really allow them to see your point of view and to give them a choice whether to honor your point of view or to F off out of your life. Maybe not so bluntly, but basically, right, that's it. When you communicate with them so that they understand why you might not be following through with something that they think you should just commit to and do, is important. And at the same time, be willing to allow other people's perspective to shed light on where you might be blindsiding yourself, right? Because quite often what we do to ourselves, and this is why we have accountability partners and people who help us push us a little bit into actions that we quote unquote don't want to do, is that we get blinded by our emotional resistance to doing it, and then we turn it in our mind and turn it into, oh, this is my guidance that I shouldn't be doing it now, right? And so we just have to be very, very mindful that our egoic self will try and get out of doing what we don't want to do because it feels uncomfortable, and yet it might be the best thing for us to do. So understanding that finding compassion with ourselves quite often means getting pushed into, things that we don't want to do. As I posted in this group a couple of days ago, when I talked about my resistance with James, my business mentor, about recording this video that I did actually record last night, or yesterday. It was only yesterday I posted, right? And he basically just one sentence back said, you're resistant to doing it because, intuitively, it's going to bring you more money than you feel comfortable to receive, right? And I was like, oof, that's some truth, right? And so realizing that is the truth and looking at it to why I was skirting around doing the video and using all sorts of excuses like, oh, I can't, where I'm sitting right now, I can't sit here and record video in the afternoon because the sun comes in and it's, too front lit, too bright. And so my mornings have been quite busy and I never really had the time, and it's a 2-hour jobby to record this video. And I never had the window of time to do it. And so I recorded it yesterday afternoon in a different part of the house. Yes, that meant picking up the computer. Was it yesterday afternoon or the day before? I can't remember. But anyway, I think it was the day before, and I spent all day yesterday editing it. I actually moved my MacBook, whatever this thing is, iMac. I actually moved it into my other room, set it up, and where I can record in the afternoon. So it was a simple fix, right? But in my mind, that wasn't a go, right? Until I got pushed by James to basically go, you're just skirting around this because of your own resistance to being successful. So it was a stretch. And I recorded it, and it took me a long time to edit. And yes, in the editing process, I had multiple things go wrong. I lost chunks of it, but thankfully I've learned enough now that I always record. I always save 2 copies of it to begin with before I start editing. I always save the original so I could go back to the original and pick out bits that I'd accidentally deleted and hadn't even realized I deleted it, because I'm using a program that I don't use very often, obviously, ScreenFlow. And anywho's, I have now a complete copy of that video, and it is reasonably good. It's good enough. There you go, I said it. It's good enough. It's not perfect, of course, but it's good enough. Okay, thank you. My calendar actually speaks to me. That's where I'm up to with being controlled. Hey, Sister Kay, how are you? Can't remember where I was going, but the point is this working with discipline and accountability, it is a dance, and it is not set in concrete, and it's not as easy as just following rules. We have to be willing to be dynamic with it, but we also do need to maintain the discipline to cut through our own bullshit and not to allow ourselves to egoically railroad ourselves due to, bits of resistance and, not wanting and all of that stuff, right? The stories that we tell ourselves to justify not doing something that we don't feel comfortable about doing for whatever reason. most of those forever reasons are, our own limitations rather than any real heartfelt knowing that doing it right now is not the right time. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. We have to cut through our own bullshit to really make a good choice around that and to honor a choice that we make from deep within our heart, but then also be willing to question other choices that we're making consistently, especially when someone calls us on it. Because quite often, especially if it's someone we trust, right, they call us on it, and rather than defend ourselves and go, no, I'm honoring my heart, it's like, am I actually honoring my heart right now, or am I making excuses for myself to stay small and safe, right? There's no easy answer here, my friends. There's no easy answer. This is the process of mastery of the human experience, and it's an evolution, and it's a process, and it's an exploration, and we all just need to be able to do our best on it, and not to beat ourselves up, and not to be overly harsh on ourselves. Yeah, call ourselves on things, but then don't beat yourself up for feeling beat up. Don't beat yourself up for avoiding your pain. Just choose. Right? I didn't beat myself up when James called me on not doing that video. I just went, right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to step through whatever resistance I feel and make it happen. And I did, even though it pushed me, even though I was recording right up to 10 minutes before I had to leave for yoga class, I did it, right? Anywho, that was Chat with Matt. Hopefully I've shed some light for you all, and it's helped you move forward in a more empowered way. If you need any help, if you want some more, personal help in any way, any of you, reach out and we'll talk about how we can make that happen for you. Whether it's a personal session or whether it's a quick chat, whatever it's going to take, I'm here to serve people. So, and your people, right? You, the person there who's sitting thinking, oh no, not me. I'm not ready. You probably are ready to be helped, to become more ready. So don't be shy. Reach out if you think I can help you, and we can work out how that can best happen. Yeah, bye for now. I will speak to you guys again soon, if not before next week. We've got our Q&A call this weekend for those of you who are in the Mantara Empowerment and Transformation and Empowerment Support Community. I'm going to be doing a push on that community very, very soon. The price may go up. I'm not sure yet. James says I should put the price up because it's only $33 New Zealand a month. For those of you who are already in it, the price will not go anywhere. I can guarantee you that. But it may soon start getting offered at a higher price. I'm not committing to that. James is twisting my arm saying, I'm offering far too much value for the price that it's on for. I like to make my work available to as many people as I can, so I'm dancing with that. He's actually saying that if I put my price up, probably more people will join. Anyway, if you've been thinking about joining and you don't want to join at a higher price, then you might like to think about joining. That's all I'm saying. As I dance through my resistance to what my business mentor is telling me, and everything that he's told me thus far has basically, I believe, been pretty much on the ball, on the money. So the truth is, probably if I did put the price up, I'd have more people join. Anywho, so that's coming. It's going to be a little while anyway. It's definitely a couple of weeks away. Other things that are coming up, I don't have much space left. If you want to come to Thailand or if you want to come to Bali, both of those retreats are nearly full. Thailand is happening second week of July, I believe, and Bali is happening first week of September. If you're interested in either of those, please reach out. And let me know, and we can give you more information and everything you need to make a good decision about that. Next year, 2021, we're going to go to Sri Lanka, we're going to go to Vietnam, and we're going to go to Costa Rica. I know many of you over in the Americas might be keen on Costa Rica. That will be happening. We haven't set the date, but it'll be probably June-ish in Costa Rica. We haven't set the date. Marie is going over to Costa Rica this July, August to lock down the venue. Anywho, all of that's coming up. But yeah, if you're interested in joining the Montara Transformation Empowerment Support Community, flick us an email or a messenger, and I'll give you some information about that. If you're keen to come on our retreat, especially the ones that are happening this year, which is a few spots left for Thailand in July and a few spots left for Bali in September, then reach out. Okay, my friends, bye for now.